We're going to go ahead on and get started. It's 11:15. So I'd like to welcome everyone to session 8. This session is highlighting adolescent adventures and happy cowboys, which are the adolescent development and mental health focus group. Let's start with a bit of housekeeping. This session is being recorded, and we ask that participants keep both your audio and your video off during the presentation portion of the session. This will protect the bandwidth and hopefully prevent potential issues with lagging. We have several great internships to hear about, so let's get started. Our featured intern presenters are Caitlin, Lindsay, and Nicola. We will begin by viewing the video reports they have prepared for us, followed by a Q&A where we will be able to ask focus questions about their specific internship experiences. Can everyone see the video?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
This is Caitlin, and I did my internship through the Vermilion Parish School Board Office in the Child Welfare and Attendance Department. This is also where I work, so I had the opportunity to do my internship through my job. Here's an overview of my internship over the past few months. My internship dealt a lot with working with families and children, because what we do in our department is deal with expulsions, alternative school sites, getting the children set up over there if they're assigned to go over there. I've dealt with families trying to enroll their kids in school coming from a different parish. We have 3 alternative school sites that I made many trips to over the past few months. We have an elementary site, a middle school site, and a high school site. The elementary is kindergarten to 5th. The middle school is 6th to 8th. And the high school is 9th to 12th. And I would say the amount of students that we have at each site is probably around 20 to 25 in each grade. All depends where they're assigned to. This job really does require a lot of work, and I've learned a lot from doing my internship because I was able to do more and be involved more and actually see how much work goes into it. The first objective that I had written on my strategic plan was to learn more about the process of actually going through the expulsions with students and what we can do to help the families clearly understand the process. As I went through my internship, I was able to be involved more with the expulsion processes and the paperwork and the meetings and what the principals have to send to us and what actually all goes into it. Many parents don't understand the amount of work that we have to do just to make sure their child is getting the proper education after they're expelled and what kind of process they want to go through. There's 2 ways that expulsion takes place. You can either do a waiver expulsion or a formal hearing. The waiver is pretty much the parent signing their right to wait till a formal hearing, which is you have the waiver, contract, and assignment. I would say it's an easier process if the parent is just wanting to get through it quickly. But there's also a formal hearing, which is almost like a court session. They go through a whole process, go over the incident that happened, and there's 2 panel members that make the decision on whether the student should be expelled or not. Then that goes to the superintendent. So it's really a lot of work that goes into it that not many understand. I've never been able to sit in an expulsion hearing, but since doing my internship, I was able to And I find it really interesting because there's not many that are the same. Some are very different, some are hard to go through and make a decision, some are really easy because it's obvious, but there's a lot that goes into it. The lab artifact that I really liked was doing the online training because I know that I needed to learn more for my job and for a future job after I graduate. And doing this online training has really helped me to further educate myself with my job and to learn more of what actually goes on in the work that I want to do. I've really learned so much from doing my internship over the past few months, and I'm really so grateful that I was able to do it through my job because I knew working in child welfare is what I wanted to do, doing some type of social work, especially after I graduate. It's been a great opportunity and I've learned so much from it. And I couldn't be more thankful for my supervisor. She's done nothing but help me and has been there for me throughout the whole process. I couldn't be more thankful.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Del Bosque, and I am here to talk to you about my internship at the K-Dore Counseling Clinic on the McNeese campus, and more specifically, QPR. And I'll explain to you what QPR is. So, as I said, I was matched with K-Dore Counseling Center, and QPR is their suicide prevention and education program. My supervisor was Dr. Kevin Yaldis, who is the academic and faculty advisor for the center. And, QPR focuses on providing a lifeline, a way to save a life. It's 3 simple steps: question, persuade, refer, that anybody can do. And, like I said, it's to save a life. Just as people trained in CPR and the Heimlich maneuver help save thousands of lives each year, people trained in QPR learn how to recognize the warning signs of suicide. So it's a really great program. Everybody can do it. Anyone can be trained in less than an hour, and it's saving lives. So that's really wonderful. So during my time at K-Dore, I was able to sit through 10 QPR presentations, which resulted in hundreds, maybe thousands of new gatekeepers just for our community alone. I was part of a Calcasieu Parish School Board mass in-service training, which thousands of teachers were trained in gatekeeping. Okay, so here are some of my artifacts that I was really proud of. I worked really hard. The brochure just highlights the importance of talking about suicide and the stigma surrounding it, which is something that, we as a society really need to work on. And then the infographic is exactly what QPR stands for. It is, like I said, talking about it, a chain of survival. It's often compared to like a CPR or Heimlich maneuver. It's a chain of survival. So you question, persuade, and refer. It's very simple. Anyone can do it. It just starts with asking the question: are you considering suicide? And I know this is probably the conference is after our QPR training. So many of you watching this maybe have attended that or attended another form of QPR, which is awesome because Dr. Yaldis is doing a fantastic job of spreading awareness and making people aware of asking a simple question. You can save a life. It's really great. During my initial internship with Dr. White, I expressed that I was interested in working with at-risk youth and was originally placed at a different facility. Well, that didn't quite pan out. They had some difficulties on their end, and Dr. White came to me and recommended the K. Dorian, Dr. Yada's QPR. And I have to admit, it just wasn't something that I was super interested at the time. But I'm so glad that she found it for me. I'm so glad we had that placement available, because I never would have known. Now I have these wonderful tools that I'm able to use throughout my career, throughout my life, and spread the word about QPR. I went in not knowing anything about QPR. I didn't even know it was a thing. So, and now I know and understand more about the problems agencies face when it comes to reaching communities and offering support to individuals. It really was a blessing, and now I'm quite passionate about it, and I hope to continue this work after my internship ends. It's really made an impact in my life. So, I mean, I think the moral of the story is have an open mind when you go into your placement, and you really might discover a passion that you never knew you had. Dr. Yaldis, he's awesome. Very special thank you to my internship supervisor. Not only does he work tirelessly to provide affordable, quality mental health care to those in our community, he also shares his passion with others, just like students like me. And I'm really grateful to him, and the opportunity's been wonderful and rewarding, and I've done things and accomplished things that I never even knew that I could. So I really look forward to the future, and I'm grateful. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nicola Levine, and I did my internship at the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana. I did it locally. I live in Lake Charles. Also, I did it at the Lake Charles Niji Club. At the Boys and Girls Club, it is worldwide. They offer support and guidance to children all over. Connected to the Club of Acadiana is the club here in Lake Charles. They have 2 Lafayette locations, a New Iberia location, a location in Vermilion, Opelousas, and they have a new location that is in Natchitoches. The purpose of the Boys and Girls Club. So the Boys and Girls Club of America started in 1860 with 3 women who wanted to give boys who roam the streets, as they said, a positive alternative. So that's when they created the first club. Every day there are children who leave school and they really have nowhere safe to go, like with an adult or anything. So this may cause them to fall behind in school from not doing homework, making bad choices, like getting into drug abuse or drug substance, or just like anything causing them unsafe conditions, living conditions, all of that. So the Boys and Girls Club provides a safe place where children can grow, play, and learn. The club encourages growth in school, becoming good citizens, and just leading a healthy, productive lifestyle in general. This is a brochure that I made of the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana. It says our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us the most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. Who are we? We are an organization located throughout Louisiana that serve the youth in our area ages 6 to 18. The club here in Lake Charles, they're not taking kids up to 18 just yet, but we provide a safe environment for all the kids in the club. And three main focuses are academic success, healthy lifestyles, and habits, and good character. So some values that the Boys and Girls Club love to strive for is helping the community, showing and teaching love to everyone, excellence, growth, and integrity. So the Boys and Girls Club are always looking for volunteers. If you want to volunteer your time, if you want to volunteer your resources or anything, you can contact your local club. Fact check is that 97% of teens who attend the Boys and Girls Club are expected to graduate from high school. That's a high percent. And along with the teens who graduate high school, 88% of the teens at the club are expected to attend any type of college, technical school, or post-secondary school. A reflection, one thing that I really loved at the club is that we always did activities. Like every week it was new activities, STEM activities, everything. So one time we made robots or attempted to make robots. So yeah, they were in little pieces, but it's okay. After we made the robots, it took us probably like a week. But we had somebody from the Special Forces team come in, and he actually got to show the kids a real robot, and they got to drive the robot, which was really cool. Also, the kids always did different activities like for each holiday. So for St. Patrick's Day, we watched videos on St. Patrick's Day, and they made some shamrock shakes for Mardi Gras. They made floats. Spring, they had a coloring contest. Just little things like that I love that we did with the kids. And I just want to take the time out to say thank you to Miss Nidra for taking me in and letting me come into your facility. And I also want to say thank you to Donovan because without him, I don't know where I'll be. He helped me a lot. So I just want to say thank you guys. The Boys and Girls Club is an awesome place, and I will miss all of you guys, especially the kids.
Okay, wow. Really great video reports. I really enjoyed listening to all the interns' videos. Now it's time to open up for a Q&A with the interns. Interns, please turn on your cameras now so we can see you, and we can ask that all attendees keep your cameras off for the duration of this session so that we can focus on the interns. We also ask that all attendees leave your microphones off unless you're asking a question. This will help keep any unexpected sounds from distracting the rest of the sessions. If you have a question for one of the interns, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you to ask your question. The raise hand is found in the meeting toolbar to the left of the red leave button. You can also raise your hand by clicking Control, Shift, and K at the same time. If you would prefer to type your question, feel free to type it in the session chat and I will read it to the interns. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone that this session is being recorded. I'll start off the Q&A with a question for Caitlin. You did your internship at a local school board, which is at Vermilion Parish School Board in Abbeville. What was something that you learned during your internship that was unexpected?
I would have to say it was pretty shocking to see like how many parents who have children in our school system, how they don't realize how much work goes into what my department really does, especially with expulsions. They think it's just a one thing and done with it, but it's such a long process. So I was really shocked to see how much they didn't know.
Okay, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed all of y'all presentations. They were really nice. It really shows how what we learn is really important because we are allowed to exercise all of our knowledge in our internship. So I really appreciate all of that. So now I'm going to open up the flow to all our attendees. This is Q&A time. Let's start asking questions to our interns that can better help us doing our internships. Lindsay, go ahead. We can't hear you.
I always do that. I always do that. My question's for Caitlin, and I work in the school system as well. And I know you mentioned this in your presentation, but I was wondering what the process is like to continue the education after the expulsion. I wasn't aware that that was offered. Is it virtual? Is it homebound?
So
What's that like?
we have 3 alternative sites for
Mhm.
the kids who do get expelled. It depends what grade they're in. Like elementary, it's a classroom setting. Middle school, it's all virtual, but we have a place for it. And
Okay.
high school is a classroom setting too.
I see. Okay. We have alternative sites in Calcasieu as well, but they're campuses, so I didn't know how that worked. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So Lisa, you're up next.
Hi. I wanted to know, I guess, from each one of the interns, what were your initial reactions starting the internship? I know there's a little, nervousness going into it, but I just wanted to get the emotional side of it and see how, you kind of break that barrier and get into it and be able to learn without still having that nervousness there.
Well, I'll go first. I think you just do it. You just get into it, and like I mentioned in my presentation, this was something that I didn't see myself, I wasn't saying, "Hey, put me in for suicide prevention." This was everything was new to me, but my my supervisor, Dr. Yardis, was so wonderful. And Dr. White's always so helpful. I have a thing where if I don't know or if I don't feel prepared, I kind of panic a little bit. So you just get over it. And also, I'm still nervous about things. We did a QPR presentation a couple nights ago, and that was, I'm still learning. I'm still kind of getting over those insecurities and the nerves. So it's just an ongoing process. I think you just face it head on and do what you need to do.
Awesome.
Thank you for answering that.
I think I have a question. So when you first start your internship, like do you immediately start hands-on with the clients or in the role of with your interning, or it's like you have a few days of shadowing and then you start operating?
For me, since I did it through my job, it was like an automatic thing that I was able to do more. So I worked with my supervisor, and she showed me what she does, and that's how I did my internship.
Okay.
And for mine was fully online. He called me for my interview and kind of gave me a rundown of what he would be needing, what he was looking for, and we just started from there. I think it was about a week before I started, you know, actually doing work for him. But prior to that, it was more research and reading documents and just getting myself familiar with what we would be working on.
Okay, Nicola, did you immediately start in your I guess what you would call it, like your role in internship, or you had to kind of shadow and monitor to see how they do things first before you jumped in?
I immediately started, but I did a Boys and Girls Club, so I started like they do it like in semesters kinda. So I started at the same time that the kid they who has been there before. So they all knew each other and they knew the previous coaches, but I was nervous at first, but it was okay, and the kids like warmed up to me real good too.
Okay. Do any other attendees have any questions for the interns? No? Okay. Well, I think I have another question. What was the hardest part of y'all internship? Like, was there any challenges, any breaking points? Did you get attached to some people and you wasn't able to separate your emotions from your professionalism? So tell me something like that to help with all of us who haven't been there yet.
I think the hardest part for me, since it was working with the schools, there's so many days off that we get for school, for holidays and the weather. It was to make my hours every week. That was pretty stressful.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds a lot. Cause I know, like when we were in school, we didn't have all those days off. Like when
No,
a tornado or something was coming, we all would get in the hallway. You would have teachers like doing that. But nowadays, like the kids get out of school for everything.
they do.
So it's just like blows my mind. So Lisa, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering, the internship, while y'all were interning, did it change your mind and your perception of what you wanted to go, what you wanted to do after you graduate, and what specification that y'all wanted to do? Like I know I'm getting ready to register to do ABA therapy, and that's not something that I initially wanted to, that I wanted to do, but after talking to Dr. Peoples, Mr. Peoples, I was like, well, I never thought about this. This is interesting. So I'm looking forward to doing it in the fall. And it's crazy because I'm actually thinking about just kind of further looking into it because I wanted to do like family and marriage counseling, but now my little mind is changing. So I'm just wanting to know if any of that affected you guys.
Well, I do think so, and I like I said, I touched on that a little bit in my presentation. Was suicide prevention was something that it's not that I wasn't interested in it. Of course, it's something that we should all be interested in, working towards the common goal. But I to this degree, no, I never would have thought that it would be something that I was super passionate about, and I really look forward to continuing the work even after my internship, after I graduate, things like that. I've learned so much, and it's really exciting to know that there are these programs, and something, like I said, you can continue after. And also, I think ABA is really awesome. I do that in my current position at a middle school. So I'm considering grad school for that as well. So good job.
Yeah, ABA is awesome. I work with autistic kids in ABA now, and I was thinking about doing grad school too. So it's like but that and my intern. I don't know, it just kind of made me more confused a little bit on what I want to do, because I did love my intern, but I do love what I do now with ABA.
But I think that's the great thing. It's like you can just incorporate it into, into your regular life. You can still work at the Boys and Girls program. I can still do my regular job and do QPR and present QPR and spread the word about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an extra tool in the toolbox, so it just gives you that little edge.
Okay, so Lindsay, what was the hardest part of your internship? Because I know Caitlin with us.
I have to agree with Caitlin. It was making my hours, finding ways to make hours and fitting things in, and sometimes just going kind of rogue and on my own and finding other suicide prevention webinars, or reaching out to agencies and kind of not just kind of do my own thing in order to make my hours. That was difficult.
Okay. Nicola, what was your hardest part of your internship? I agree with both of them, because we had the school schedule too, so we were out a lot. That, and I work already all day, so I would go to work from like 8 to 3:30, and then we'll go to my intern straight after until 7. So I was just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So one last question before we close our session. What advice would you give to future interns in the focus areas of adolescent development or mental health?
I think my advice would just be keep an open mind. Don't be too nervous, because they know you're just starting out. In my case, my supervisor was wonderful, and I know you guys talked about that as well. And they're excited. They're ready to teach you. That they're excited to share their knowledge. So keep an open mind and don't be too nervous, because it all works out. Also, communication is another thing. Dr. White's always there. If you're having difficulties, just communicate and reach out with whatever issues you're having, and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, my supervisor, I started, I guess she could tell that I was nervous, but her and the programs manager that we had, they both were like, don't be nervous. At the end of the day, it's just kids. They're gonna like you regardless, which it happened, but you take your own time to get in and get your feel for it of what you're doing. Okay, Caitlin, what advice would you give to future interns in the focus areas of adolescent development or mental health?
I would have to say, but with the kids that I work with, that most of them are troubled. So you have to keep that in mind, that they're troubled and they need your help. And it's good to have tough skin. You can't let your feelings get in the way, because sometimes it'll happen that you'll get upset with whatever situation that the kids are in. But the most important thing is to just help them and show them that you're there for them.
Okay. Attendees, do y'all have any final questions before we end our sessions with the interns? No? Any further questions? Okay. Well, I would like to thank everyone for joining the session. Our time is out. Thank you all for your participations, for asking great questions, and a big thank you to our wonderful presenters for sharing their internship experiences with us. When I end this session, you will be back in the channel where you originally entered this session. I encourage you to review the conference schedule, then join us in another session. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope to see you in the next session.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.